Hello. Hi. Hi. I think people have started joining. Hi, Shrey. Hello. I will just wait for a couple of minutes to get Aviral online, who's our guest for today. Abhi Singh, how is the internship going on? It is going great. Where is AB? AB is coming. AB will join us soon. I am just waiting for more guys to join in, more people to join in. आई होप सबका लॉकडाउन ठीक चल रहा है. नेमिल शाह, माई क्लासमेट फ्रॉम IME, हैज ऑल्सो ज्वाइंड. ग्रेट. Much waited. Yes, I know, right? Aviral, I think I've been following Aviral for a lot of years now. Any more speakers lined up? Let's keep that a secret. You can follow our page on the Younger Me project on LinkedIn if you're not following it already, and I think you will know. But for sure, there are a lot more exciting sessions away in line. Session is going to be great. Yes, I am also looking forward to this session a lot. AB is indeed an appropriate nickname. He's a genius like AB de Villiers. Rightly said. एक मिनट और रुक जाते हैं. I think some of you might be joining this live or the Younger Me project for the first time. To give you a brief, we started a month and a half back with the single objective of doing such live chats, conversations with people, so that you know, at least like if I talk about myself, I would think कि अगर कोई और मुझे ऐसे बताता at one point of time before I started out doing something like an MBA or anything else, right, in life, decision making, so it would have been better. ठीक है, we've already crossed, we're almost crossing 100 people. I think it's time to now invite Aviral on the chat. So Aviral, I think nobody really needs an introduction about Aviral. He's one of the most read writers on Quora. Post apart from graduating from IIT Bombay and IIM Ahmedabad in 2014 and 16 respectively, he is currently working with Guild Capital. Hi Aviral, how are you?
Hey,
How are you doing, Aviral?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm doing well.
Is Aviral on Instagram?
Awesome.
Are you on Instagram, Aviral?
No, I'm
That's
not.
something.
No, I'm not.
So,
I had to create an account to get this done. So the only place I am is LinkedIn and Twitter. So I'm active on Twitter and LinkedIn. That's it. Uh, yeah, so it's good. It's good. I had to install Instagram to start this. I have been off Facebook and Instagram for I think 5, 6 years. So it's been a very long
I think
time.
that is when I joined
And
these platforms.
yeah, yeah. And I had to like get some training from you to understand how Instagram works. So
Yeah,
thank
these.
you for having me. Uh, yeah, I rarely do these, webinars or discussions online. Generally like to write, but I think you're doing some wonderful work with the Younger Me project. I was super impressed to see somebody from campus actually trying to build a community. That's what we are trying to do with a junior VC, and that's the idea logged in. My team was like log in with this. So
No,
so
this
so
is
yeah,
great. So,
awesome.
I will now just directly head on to our discussion, right? Head into our
Right,
discussion. We
right.
have about 7, 8 questions planned for you, right? We'll try to wind them up
Sure.
in the first 20 odd minutes.
Yeah,
And then we can take up live questions. So, all those who are watching us
sure.
right now, I would request you to put in your questions in the question mark placard as always, right? Matlab, This is nothing new for us doing. So I think already
Right.
people have started putting in questions. So everyone who wants to ask any questions, please put it there. We'll take them up as soon as the first segment gets over.
Cool.
Cool. Okay. So Aviral, I have the first question for you, right? And we're calling this session on non-linear decision making that
Right.
you've been doing. So
Right.
why don't you describe a couple of crucial moments or occasions where you ended up taking non-linear decisions in life and how
Right.
that has shaped up for you?
Right. So, I think there were like four decisions that were really non-linear in my life, and I'll talk about those. Obviously, I believe in this philosophy, and I'll delve into that first, and then go into why I made those decisions. So, if you want to be successful in life, there are two options that you have. One is go with the crowd or don't go with the crowd, right? And the
Right.
outcome can be you're right or wrong, right? And if you're wrong and you don't go with the crowd, people think you're really stupid. But if you're right and you don't go with the crowd, that's when you make a non-linear return, and that's a non-linear decision, right?
Right.
So I always believe that even in investing, even in making life decisions, you have to be like non-linear. That is the only way you will make a non-linear return. I mean, it's simple. A lot of people
Right.
think that it's not that obvious, but according to me, it's obvious. I think the first decision that was non-linear for me was when I was deciding what to do uh, after my 12th, right? So
Yeah.
pre 11th engineering, etc. I thought I'll give the JE. The decision I made that time was I had to either decide to go to a CBSE school or an ICSE school or SSC college, right? I
Right.
studied in Pune and I'm still in Pune. I'm working in Pune as well. I ended up, thankfully topping Pune, which I was like very
Which is
surprised.
not surprising. Which is not
Yeah.
surprising to at least me and
So,
our viewers,
so,
I'm sure.
so, so I ended up topping Pune, and a lot of my friends were going to go to this college, school actually, called
Yeah.
Army Public School, and that's what people do. But I ended up joining a college called Wadia College, right? Which, like, if you look at my class, the first person who joined was me with whatever percentage, and then there was
Right.
someone like 10% below, right? So, uh, and and I felt like this is an entirely new experience. I
Right.
had heard like I was in a very protected environment, and that college experience was something that I had not expected. But that decision actually helped me clear the JEE because I had so much time to end up, you know, going to college, not going to college actually, because people who
Yeah.
go to like CBSE schools have to go to college, right? So that was my first non-linear decision. The second one was when I got into IIT, what engineering stream to take
Seem
and
to
what
take the right.
department. Yeah. So I mean, most people at my rank would have picked chemical or mechanical, electrical, comp science, and other such things. But uh, but I took engineering physics
Okay.
because it's super abstract. It's just one second.
Sure. Sure.
So yeah, I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
having to
Go
jump.
on.
Yeah, yeah. So engineering physics basically like taught me a lot of abstract thinking, and I really thought that that was another non-linear decision that I took. People don't really do that.
Yeah.
The third was after I got a job. I got a job with a consulting firm from IIT Bombay, and it's a funny story. So I got into this consulting firm, and I had applied for the IIMs, and
Right.
that consulting firm hired me in December. I got my result in around February. Um, I got into luckily IMA, and I called the monitor, the company I joined
Yeah.
was supposed to
Just
join.
named it.
Yeah, so I called them and I said, hey, I'm going to IMA now. a partner calls me and he says, "Why are you going to another Indian B school? You're not going to learn anything. Come
Yeah.
join us, work for 4 years, go to a USB school, right?" And at that time, my thought process was that I believe in India and I believe in the India story. Uh,
Right.
a lot of my batchmates were like, "Are you crazy, man? You can go to Harvard Business School, right?" So, but I mean, I honestly thought that IMA would have been a better experience than HBS. So another non-linear decision. And the final one, uh, so I actually did not sit for placements in
In
IMA. I
campus.
opted out of placements, and I got this job. So
Okay.
uh, it was an extremely non-linear decision. I had the opportunity to work at practically any firm I wanted to, but doing that, taking this leap of faith, and now I'm here. I'm pretty thankful about it. The amount of latitude I have to be able to write online, do that blog or
Yeah.
junior VC, I don't think I would have got that opportunity anywhere else. So these four non-linear decisions have really influenced my life a lot. And looking in hindsight, they seem like really tough decisions, but they kind of played out well, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure they did play out well. Uh, but if I were to, this all of this, listening to all of this is like super. It's super amazing to know, right? But at the same time,
Right.
if you were to think and now tell me, I think you taking that college or that school for class 11th was the first time you did taken this decision, taken
Right.
something as important as this, right?
Right.
So, if there is something that you might want to talk about that time, and where does this thing you think like? I mean, how does this something like this ability to think like this
Hmm.
came for you?
Right. So
What is the origin?
yeah, I would attribute it a lot to my parents, my father specifically. I mean, he's an entrepreneur. Like, actually, he's one of the few guys from his batch who actually ran and built businesses, right? So he influenced me to, think in this way, think aggressively, think non-linearly. Don't, go with the what everyone is saying, because as I
Yeah.
was saying earlier, that is how you actually build something really different. I think one thing I really believe in is that I am blessed to have really good parents, and I think that's where all the credit lies for doing these things that I did in my life. I think two things are very important to me. One is, when you're young, if you feel like doing something, do it.
Right.
Like, don't think too much about it, right? The If you are working very hard, if you are very optimistic, if you are putting the right effort, you
Mhm.
will do well. And the second thing is, like, for me, I have got those brands that people say are good. I think that
Mhm.
once you have brands, then you should not be chasing brands for life, right? दो brands हैं मुझे और brands नहीं चाहिए, right? The
Mhm.
personality should become a brand, right? So I think of things that way. So over my life, I've actually liked making these decisions because it just makes you stand out, makes you
Right.
look different, right? Even if I look at my batch, I would say that probably there's nobody who is as active as me trying to help other people in the ecosystem, writing, etc., etc., right? So that's doing something different, and being different, we are all different, and I think that uh, if you have the brands, one, then take the leap of faith, and if you're young, definitely take the leap of faith. So sometimes you can make like rash decisions, but it's okay, right? If you have not failed enough, you will not learn enough. So I look at life in just two ways because of that. um, Failures and success are actually learning what worked and learning what didn't work. That's it. That's all.
Got it.
So
Those are some great words, Aviral.
yeah.
I think you mentioned, right, becoming yourself a brand instead of chasing the
Right.
brands.
Right.
So I am like having a fanboy moment, right, when I've read you quite a lot on Quora, and I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of other people who are watching this have also done that. I was
Right.
going through your profile recently, and you've almost got about 30 million views on your content,
Yes,
cumulative, right, on Quora.
yes,
So how
yes.
does that feel? And if you could quickly touch upon how did Aviral writing on Quora begin, and how did you keep yourself going on that platform?
Right. So they say overnight, like it looks like an overnight success. 30 million views. Oh my God, so many followers. But back in 2012, when I wrote my first Quora answer, I got two upvotes, right? Two
Right.
upvotes. One was my wingmate, and the other was the guy who actually asked me to answer the question. So there's two people, right? But the thing is that if you want to build things, you have to believe in the compounding effect, right? And I
Right.
wrote about it today on LinkedIn as well, one of the founders I was speaking to. But I truly believe that um, since 2015 till today, which is like 5 years, I would say,
Right.
260 weeks, I have written every week. Like every week, I have written something on the weekend, right? Um, and for me, writing is like dancing or playing music. It's a way of expression, and
Right.
it's my way of expressing myself, right? And I believe storytelling is, the most wonderful thing that people can learn. It's an amazing skill. Storytelling probably is one of the most important skills that you can have. Like you will need storytelling when you want to get clients, when you want to get a deal, when you want to get a promotion, when you want to hire an employee. Storytelling is the most important, right? And in my
Right.
ecosystem, I think storytelling is everything because startups and investors, they are all living in the future. So everyone is
Right.
believing a story, right? I am believing a story, someone else is believing a story, right?
Yeah.
So I love storytelling. I love writing. You guys can see the number of books I have. I've been reading since I am like 3, 4 years old. So I've been reading like for 24 years almost, right? So that story reading, storytelling, it's all part of the mix. And Quora was the first place where I expressed myself, and then I've been doing it everywhere else.
That's great. So, Aviral, I think you mentioned storytelling as an art, or
Yes.
you being, kind of addicted to that art form, with you being so
Yeah.
consistent with storytelling. So, any quick tips?
Addicted
I
is
think
Yeah,
addicted
so
is the wrong word, is it?
addicted is the right word. So I'll give you this very funny anecdote that I've never written about. So essentially, like my dad and my dad's friend, they were talking about something, right? And in their conversation, they mentioned this company, Reckitt Benckiser, right? Now
Right.
all of you know it. I was probably like 6 years old.
Okay.
And then, like, my dad and my friend are talking about Reckitt Benckiser, and I start saying Annie Besant Road, Worli, Mumbai, and they are like, "What is this?" And then there is a soap bottle, and I show my dad Reckitt Benckiser. The office address of Reckitt Benckiser is this. When I was 5, 6 years old, so I read everything. Like I read the newspaper in the shirt also, right? so so anything I get, I mean, it is an addiction. I mean, it's a very unhealthy one also, I think sometimes. But you can fall in love with reading, like many things, by choosing the right books, right? Choosing the right things to read, right? So as a kid, Noddy was my favorite. Like when I was 5, 6 years old.
Hmm.
By the time I was around 10, I think Harry Potter had come, right? And like anybody who
Yeah.
I, I would owe like that whole generation to J.K. Rowling for teaching them how to read, because Harry Potter, like the day it would land, it would usually be around my mom's birthday, July 23rd.
Hmm.
Uh, I would sit with the book in the morning and finish it by the evening, like that, right? So,
Yeah.
so I think tips on reading. How can you read? Read the right books. Like
Hmm.
have the right food. In the beginning, it can be a little difficult. Like the gym, I used to hate the gym, but now I'm like crazy about it. Um, like that, you have to start reading in the beginning. It can be enjoyable. Keep pushing yourself, and then you start understanding it, because it's like good storytellers can be really engaging, and when you transport yourself into them, amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think reading is a way of living someone else's life, without them being there, right? Especially
Yeah.
like fiction or non-fiction. I look at it that way. So it's wonderful. I mean, someone asked fiction or non-fiction. I actually love non-fiction a lot, but as a kid, I was like fiction totally. So it's
Mm.
like a phase. But nowadays
Yeah.
I've started reading some fiction which is like not Harry Potter like, but it's like more complicated. I would say not that nice and simple. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I
but
think you
the
should.
good thing is
Yeah.
uh,
I was saying,
non-fiction
I was
is
saying
very difficult.
you should totally take a list of your collection on your LinkedIn profile. I think
Yeah,
that will be
yeah,
helpful for a lot
I'll
of
do
people.
that. I'll do that. I'll do that. So non-fiction books, can't really tell truth, which I think fiction can, right? So fiction
Yeah.
is really good to tell truth, like stand-up comics tell the truth, which politicians can't in some way. So yeah, I'll be happy to recommend some books. Do I plan to write a book? Let's see. Maybe I think I've written more than a book online, honestly. Like if I compile all of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
and yeah, cool.
So
I think we
I
can take
think,
one final
yeah,
question.
yeah. I was thinking the same. So I'll just take one final question, and because I
Yeah,
already see about
yes,
more than 30 questions on the question placard
yeah,
with me. So
yes,
okay, I think I'll just take one last question, right? Uh, can you
yes.
briefly give some advice for people who are starting out in their careers across anything, right? Let's think of fresh graduates.
Yeah, so I think two things. So the first is a lot of colleges in India and a lot of colleges in general,
Right.
they over-index on individual contributors, right? Which means that if you are a really smart individual, you will do really well, right? So
Hmm.
nobody teaches you how to be a team player, and nobody teaches you EQ, right? It's
Hmm.
very difficult. IQ is what people are pushed towards, right? So if you do really well in your college, it's because you're a hardworking individual contributor, right? But
Right.
to do well in your career, you actually need to be a great team player, right?
Hmm.
So up to just getting a job, you have developed a lot of hard skills, and what actually matters in the job a lot more is soft skills, right? So I think that is the number one thing that I really had a shock when I joined, that hey, you know what, you don't need to be like knowing everything. That doesn't matter. You need to be able to get to work with teams, right? And the
Right.
most influential people in life are the ones who are able to bring the best out of people, right? So that's
Right.
number one. Like learn from day one how to get the best out of people, both like peers, seniors, juniors, whatever, right? That's
Yeah.
one. And the second is that don't care about money, like compensation and such things. Like
Yeah.
seriously, it just doesn't matter. Skills are the most important, right? Care about skilling yourself, being improving continuously. I suggest a lot of people to take risk and start a company. That's exactly why, because you are
Hmm.
pushed so hard when you're a founder and you get no money for it, but you learn like crazy amount. You learn everything, right? So I think that that's the second piece of advice, that don't care about how much someone is paying you or what wealth you will make. If you're a really talented person who's really skilled and you care about those things, you will become wealthy. Compounding, right? Like
Yeah.
after 10 years, the skills that you have gathered, they will become like crazy, right? We are talking about like Quora followers today. Nobody would have, 7 years ago said that, hey, you'll have like 100,000 followers, right? I mean, I never thought of it that way. I just thought that I want to help people, I want to write, and I will do it every week. Good habits, right? So
Yeah.
in life, you have like a hierarchy of three things. You have actions, you have strategy, and you have randomness, right? So
Hmm.
actions is habits, strategy is choices, and
Right.
randomness is luck, right?
Right.
Have great habits, try to make good choices, and then leave the rest, right? So that's what I was saying. Just focus on building those skills, building those habits, and other such things. So I think that's how I would look at it. Two pieces of
That is
advice.
a huge takeaway, I think. Aviral, thank you so much for sharing these pointed, specific views. Now I will head into taking up questions. We have a lot of questions coming in. Let me start with. Wait, let me get hold of a question. Yes, let's start with
Startup
this.
or MNC? Could
No,
you
so
please describe your life at IT? Okay, fine, sure.
IITB
Could you?
versus IMA. That's the question. Let's get you in a spot.
I have written a Quora answer about this, so let's just let
No, no, you
IITB
can't
versus
get away.
IMA. Yeah. I think for me, IITB was I loved the people. IMA, I loved the place, right? So if I go back to IIT Bombay without my wingmates, my batchmates, and my friends, it's empty, right? I mean, I obviously love the place,
Yeah,
but I don't feel the same, right? And IMA, I can go there and stay, and I don't care if I don't know anybody, right? It's the place, right? That matters, and it's very different because in IITB, I was really young,
yeah,
first time out of home,
yeah.
joining a college, made some of my best friends there, and that's why I love the people there. So, heart is IIT Bombay, mind is IMA, right? So it's not a diplomatic answer, but I think about it that way. Also because IMA I spent
Yeah,
like 1.5 years versus
four
I
years.
spent like 4 years in undergrad. Um, I learned about people in IIT Bombay, and
Right.
I learned about um, myself in IMA, right? So how are other people? How am I, right?
Yeah,
So I think that that transition was there because in IIT Bombay I did a lot of things that I wanted to things that I missed there I tried to do in
right.
IMA, and more specifically like studying was something I didn't do in IIT
Yeah,
Bombay, which is what I did in IIM Ahmedabad.
right.
So yeah, I think I love both those places, and I mean it's wonderful, but they hold different feelings for me. Somebody is saying so IITB isn't a good place. No, that's not true. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's empty. It's empty without my friends and without the people I know.
Okay, I think that answers that, Aviral. So I'll take the next question, right? Why an MBA directly after undergrad without WorkX?
Okay, good question. Um, I so how I looked at it, it was like a very simple understanding of me as a lazy person, which a lot of people will not believe, but I am. Uh, I didn't think that if I would get to work, I would be able
Right.
to study for B school, right? So I thought, why not like just get it done
Hmm.
in one go, right? Now, there's a more nuanced answer there because I had batchmates who were having work experience. I think if you are a fresh graduate, you come with a clean slate, right?
Yeah,
You come with a clean slate. You don't really have an opinion about anything, right? So that
right.
is good and bad in both ways, right? Good because you're like, oh, hey, I could like marketing, I could like ops, I could like finance, I could like everything, right?
Hmm.
So that really is an advantage if you're a fresh graduate. But if you have work experience, you really know things, and you
Yeah,
come there picking things that you want to learn. Plus, you realize that hey, I didn't like finance so much, so let me do marketing or strategy or something like that. So that's really one difference that really stands out. I think that this fresher WorkX thing that has been created, a
yeah,
lot of freshers then take themselves like, oh, we are in a wrong place. Like you yourself, I think, are probably a fresher or close to fresher, right? I
No, I
don't know
have
exactly.
two
Yeah,
years of
yeah,
work
you're
ex,
also a
one
fresher,
year
yeah.
of
Okay,
startup
okay,
experience of my
okay,
own. So I've
okay,
been through a lot.
okay,
The
okay.
nuances that you were talking about, right? I could feel all of that.
Right. So as a
Yeah,
fresher, you tend to be like, hey, I'll really have to work very hard because there's so many
yeah.
other people. So freshers try really hard, right?
Hmm.
So I think that that's the reason. I don't think there's any big difference in learning, honestly. I'm
Right.
not sure why a lot of B schools actually stress on WorkX, especially in the US. It probably could be because their fees are so damn high that nobody who is not worked can afford going
Yeah.
there, right? So I just think it could be a market thing more than anything. But I did not see any rationale for having a WorkX or not. I mean, it should be like open to everybody. At the end of the day, what they teach you, everybody can learn. It's not like a fresher can't learn or a WorkX guy can't learn. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're mostly equivalent.
Got it. Let's take the next question. Two books that you would suggest which have had the biggest impact on your life and work.
This is the most difficult question. I cannot decide two books. It's like asking me like which eye do you like more,
Uh,
right eye or left eye? No, it's very difficult. Two books.
give us a longer list then. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I can just give a list of books, and one liner, right? So, Peter Thiel's Zero to One. It just like changed my way of thinking about startups and totally resonated with my contrarian thinking. Shoe Dog, which taught me that Nike was a startup, right? Incredible. Uh, Sir Alex Ferguson's autobiography. I love Man United, and I just could not
Yeah.
understand how they did it. But like when you realize that there was a person who kept that organization and took it from like zero to the pinnacle of the world
Yeah.
in 25 years, he must have been a golden man manager, right? Then Harry Potter, the entire anthology, because it taught me how to love stories. It's not it's not something that I will ever forget. Um, yeah, these four I think would be good to start with. But I've read some more like random books that have taught me a lot. There's one called Range, which talks about being generalist versus being specialist, and being generalist in this world is what the new normal is going to be.
Right.
Um, that's one book. I'm reading this book called The Emperor's New Mind. It's like a tour de force on artificial intelligence and physics. I'm not sure if it influenced me, but it taught me how to think a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, so these are like 5 6 books that come top of my head that have influenced me. But I think every book I have read has influenced me a lot. Like I could go back to Kite Runner, which I read really long back. It
Right.
was like so hard hitting, right? So hard hitting. I could not like I
Hmm.
felt that pain, right? So
Yeah.
I'm probably talking about books that are more recent, which I can
Yeah.
remember. But I think all these books have influenced me a lot. You know, all the all through my life.
Got it. Got it. I'm looking for a fun question actually now. If there's any. But okay, let's take one more serious question. Why IIMs produce less entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I was chatting with as I was chatting with you, you are interning with a consulting firm, and like a lot of my batchmates and a lot of your batchmates, you'll end up joining a consulting firm, right? Uh, I, uh, I think that it's a very complicated question, and I don't really fault people on doing it.
Yeah.
There is this quote by Voltaire, I think, that let us be engineers, doctors, mechanics,
Hmm.
etc., etc., so that our children can be artists and painters and other such things, right? So you really need to have a foundation where you can take risk, right? And a lot of
Hmm.
people don't have that foundation. They can't take that risk, right? A lot of Indians whose parents have like gone through a lot of difficult journeys, They know the
Right.
difficulty about like earning money. Uh, Everyone is optimizing for that, right? Everyone is like influenced subconsciously that, hey, let me get a good job, and that's what I should do, right? That's what matters the most. So the risk appetite that kids in India have, like even now, will be really low, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's what happens, right? I think it will change over time. As you
Yeah.
can see, a lot of people are becoming entrepreneurs. I think a lot of people are doing it, and I've seen like a lot of founders who are IIM graduates. So it's not something that is going south. It's increasing, but I think that's the reason, because like our experience as a country has been, challenging, and people just want to take a safer route. That's all.
Right. Got it. Next question is from Parth Shah. How to start writing? And I'll just try to, take this in a more specific direction. How do you start writing on platforms like Quora or LinkedIn?
Okay.
Few quick
Uh,
hands-on tips
you
from you.
can see me clearly, right? I just,
Yeah, yeah.
because you are a little pixelated, yeah. Um, how to start writing? Just start writing. It is like it's like the most obvious advice, but sometimes the most obvious things are what people don't do, right?
Yeah.
They will think so much that, oh, what will people think? What will people say? Oh my God, this, that. Doesn't matter, right? I, I have a lot of people who love me in the negative sense, that they will always find, right? So, but I
Yeah, yeah. I lost.
don't care,
I think we
right?
lost you for a while.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Go on,
yeah,
go on.
can you hear me
It's
now?
better.
Can you see me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is better.
So don't bother too much about what people will think, what people will say. That really holds you back. And don't care about how many people will read. Doesn't matter. That number doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I don't care how many people are reading someone else's post or my post as well. As long as there are like three people somewhere reading or two people somewhere reading, you made somebody happy,
Right.
right? So it's better to have like 10 super fans than 100,000 people who don't really care, right?
Yeah.
So start writing. The best way to do it is just start and get feedback from people. Just like keep seeing what people are saying, and then appropriately modify. I'm always reading comments. I'm always understanding where I can improve, how to storytell better. The best thing about social media is that it gives you feedback almost instantaneously,
Yeah.
right? So so that's the best, right? So if you write something really interesting, you people will realize that, hey, it's good, it's working. So just write. Don't bother, and
Yeah.
be authentic, and talk about something you know. Don't fake, right?
Yeah.
I will never talk about something I don't understand, right? Or I don't really know, right? So
Yeah.
be authentic, um, talk about things you know, and just write. That's it, right? Don't care. Just talk about your own experiences and just be authentic and honest.
Got it. I also tried to, pick this up from you, and I also started to be regular on LinkedIn. I was like completely off from the platform for like almost a year, but
Right.
yeah, I think with the Younger Me project and other things, I am pushing myself. So hopefully, I'll also be able to learn this art from you.
Right.
How to network with people better? I think this is
Yeah.
again a very blanket question that a lot of people would want to know. This is coming from
Yeah.
Gurpreet.
So somebody asked a very interesting question. Why do you start with the same looking statement every time on LinkedIn? I'll answer that as well after this. That's an
Sure,
interesting
sure, sure.
question. Um, so how do you network better? I think network is bullshit, right?
Hmm.
It just is bullshit. Don't network, right? Um, Help somebody and be helpful, right? And that's
Yeah,
how you can build a network, right? I think that why I've been able to build a network on LinkedIn, Quora, other places, people who I know, is because they reach out to me. Like people even today message me saying that, hey, I got into IIM Ahmedabad, I read your question. I read your questions, I read your answers. I owe it a lot to you. It's amazing. Like it blows my mind. Right
Yeah.
now, did I actively network with that person? No. Right?
Yeah.
But there is a connection that we have built. Right? So writing is actually helping people at scale in some way.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. And I think that just help people and like be helpful, right? Be helpful. Uh, if you are helpful to someone, they will reach out to you. That is why, that is how you build a network, right?
Yeah.
Just going to events, conferences. Anyway, now after COVID, nobody is going to go to events or conferences,
Yeah.
and I think that's a good thing. But your network is built not by doing networking, but by like helping and being helpful, right? That's it. That's
Yeah.
how it is built. Just be authentic and do that.
Got it. Let's move to that question about your
The
opening
next question
statement.
is the LinkedIn one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Let's
yeah,
take
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm answering that question, right? So, 1300 characters is very less to write an analytical post, right?
Right.
Now, when you want to write a story,
Hmm.
you have to have a hook in the beginning. And the
Yeah.
hook is always like a question. Like people think why, right? So if you look at my posts, there will be a hook
Hmm.
in the beginning, which is that I was curious about whether Reliance should be taken as a tech company, right?
Hmm.
And then after I asked that question to myself, I think that hey, Reliance is like this Lala company, nobody cares about it, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
then when you dig deeper, you realize that it is a monster business, right? Now, this is actually a story. There is a plot,
Hmm.
there's a complication, and then there's a
Right.
unravel. That is what my
Yeah.
LinkedIn posts are. Like if you structurally look at it, there's a
Yeah.
plot, which is the why. Then there is a complication that, hey, you know what I thought is correct. And then there's an unravel, which is like, this is the analysis, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they are structured like that, right? And it helps me think in a way that I can consistently talk about, because it's super difficult to be able to write very regularly unless you have a way of thinking that is in this format, is in like a storytelling format. You look at any story in the world, it will
Yeah.
be structured like this, right? So that's why I do it. I mean, that's the reason. And then
Got
people get
it.
used to it. They're like, oh yeah, I've read
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
must be interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I see people a lot of times comment in some other posts, right? That if Aviral were to answer this, he would structure it like this. This is Aviral's version of this answer, something like that. I've read that quite a lot now of
yeah,
late, so I
yeah,
don't know. I
yeah.
think that's the
That's
reason.
good. That's good.
So yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that's great. Does the IIT IM tag boost
Right.
egos to the eyebrow? Interesting question from Ronak.
No, 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 not at all. Like I had written about this LinkedIn on a LinkedIn post before. Um, the biggest shock that you get when you go to a college like let's say IIT Bombay is
Yeah,
that you're not going to be first anymore, right? It is the
yeah,
biggest demolition of ego that you ever had. You might be your school stopper, you might be a city stopper, you might be a state stopper, but there'll
yeah,
be some guy who's better than you at everything. It's a super humbling experience. And after you have gone through that,
yeah.
like if you take you take that honestly, take that feedback correctly,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, ego is like not there. Like you've seen like so many smart and talented people, it becomes really difficult to have an ego. So I don't think so. I don't think so. Like I mean, at least I don't feel it for myself. Um, and I don't really care about those tags as well. But the people around me just taught me to, just realize that hey, there's so many people better than you.
Yeah. No, no, I think I feel the same, Aviral, because I've just completed my first year and I feel you, whatever you're
Yeah,
saying. It's very
yeah,
humbling.
yeah.
So, next question is coming from the limit less, right? How do you have a good work-life balance? The golden question in life.
How how do I have a good work-life balance?
Or do you have a good work-life balance? That I think let's start with that.
Yeah, yeah. How do you think I get time to write posts if I don't have a work-life balance? Uh, so you should care about um, you should have a hobby,
Hmm.
and you should and I would not say hobby, I would say something that, let's make it a bit better. You should have something that stimulates your health, something that stimulates your mind, and something that stimulates your soul, right? And keep doing these three things. Your mind can get stimulated by work, your health is like through exercise, and soul is could be anything, right? And when these three are there, there is a work-life balance, right? So when one is missing, that balance is out, right? So
Yeah.
you have to have health, mind, soul, nourishment to all three, right? And like my soul nourishment is writing, for example, or spending time with friends, family, right?
Yeah.
Mind nourishment could be reading, could be work, right? Health is sleeping on time or other such things, right? So when these are in flow and these are balanced, that's when you have work-life balance, right? I mean, your life is balanced. It should have like an equal component of, not equal, it should have components of all these at all times. Like I would look at it on a weekly level. So I do think I have a work-life balance, and I do think it's very important. And I think that um, is that mustache look inspired from someone? Yes, my dad. My younger brother also has it. The soul, mind, and health. I think those three like should be there.
Aligned.
So that's work-life balance.
Got it. Let's have a more academic question now, or a more career-oriented question. How can I know if finance is what I want to do?
Yeah, so the funny thing is, in venture capital, there's hardly any finance. It's just
Yeah.
like talking to people and relationships, like talking to people, bringing the best out of them, etc., etc. Right?
Hmm.
Uh, I think most of finance is like that. I mean, like if you look at private equity, maybe there is a lot of financial engineering. But if you look at
Yeah.
investment banking, again, it's meeting people. Structured trading is like mathematics. Uh, so finance as such, you see very little of it, right? So how do I know whether finance is good for me? I think that if you like numbers and if you like complexity, finance can be a lot of fun because it's really abstract and
Yeah.
very sometimes removed from reality in some sense, like really high finance, like structured products or trading.
Yeah.
If you like that, you like finance, right? And a good hack, at least for engineers, is that if you really like maths or physics, you like finance generally because they're both
Yeah.
pretty abstract, right? And very far removed from reality, I feel. So yeah, how do you know whether you should do finance? Very simple answer.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Uh, okay. Some more personal questions coming in. What is one quality your closest friends have in common? They say that you are the average of, some number of closest
Yeah.
people around you, something like that, right? So I think that
I,
is
I
where this
have
question is
I have a very
referring.
eccentric set of friends actually. I think two things are very important. One is uh, humility, and the other is curiosity. Right? Two
Yeah.
things I really like, and that's probably why my friends have that. Although they are like in very random places, doing very random things.
Yeah.
But these two things are like super core and to me, right? So very humble and very curious people. So have to be fun to talk to because they're curious and also, willing to not take themselves very seriously.
Got it. Got it. I'll take one more question, which is, I think, top of mind for a lot of people right now. In the current situation, what should I do? Go for an MBA or not? This can be a non-linear decision.
Yeah.
What do
Uh,
you think?
I actually think that, if you have a 2-year MBA program, I'm not going to forecast the future, So
Yeah, yeah,
let
of
me
course.
not let me not try to do that. But I've seen people go into B school during a recession because the job market is so bad that they just want to spend 2 years outside the
The job
corporate
market.
market.
Yeah.
So that's one argument, right? I'm just like giving way of thinking. I never prescribe
Yeah, yeah.
things to people. I just try to like help them think. That is the best way to actually, communicate with others. So that's one thought process. The other thought process is that, if I have a job, and especially like if I'm doing a startup, there's a really rough time, and it might be the best time to build something like from scratch, right? Work in a place, learn some skills, work through uncertainty, right? So I mean, you could go either ways depending on your personality. I think like if you want to play it safe and like cap your downside and your upside, you probably can like just go to an MBA. That's like a safety bet, but
Yeah.
upside downside both are capped. But if you want to keep like upside open and downside open, startup probably is like the best idea. They say a lot of people are saying that huge companies are born in recession, and because for good reason, because they're
Yeah.
taught frugality, they're taught not to think growth at all costs, blah blah blah, right? They have a very different mentality. So I think that staying in a company in this uncertain environment, or if you're running your own company,
Yeah.
pretty amazing. I mean, but then the upside and downside are both like extreme. It could go
Yeah.
like really high or really bad.
Got it. There's this interesting comment which is asking about some time management hacks from you.
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah, let's know Aviral's
I,
time hacks.
yeah, so I'm an ENTJ Meyer-Briggs personality.
Yeah.
Super like structured in life. Okay, so like if you look at my schedule for work, like
Yeah.
the calendar is blocked every minute. Right? So time management, right? Doing this, like everything is decided. So um, I plan on a weekly basis, right? Things that I have to do, and then I just bucket them into slots. I also like working on things in blocks rather than like doing too many things together. So I will not do email throughout the day. I will just keep it like
Okay.
for 1 hour at half an hour in the beginning and half an hour at the end, and then I don't check email so that you can be
Yeah.
productive, right? There are these interesting techniques like Pomodoro technique that I use sometime, and then I kind of picked it. The other thing is a lot of people don't take notes. A lot of people don't write what
Yeah.
they're learning. I like take lots of notes, copious notes, like keep writing, have a book, have notes.
Yeah.
I actually follow this process called Zettel-Kasten, which is linked notes, right?
Okay.
So one node links to another, and I actually found an app that allows you to do it. It's a very unique technique for categorizing, but it helps you
Okay.
build stories over your notes as well. You can link one note to
Okay.
another, you can reference 100 notes to each other, and it just builds a very good mental model in your head. So I
Yeah.
think those are the things. I care a lot about plan and other such things. So yeah, why do you not have a red brick background picture in your LinkedIn profile? Because I like to stand out. Sorry, yeah, I've been saying that since the beginning. Yeah,
What's the
yeah.
app name that you were mentioning? I think a lot of people want to know about it.
It's called. There's an app called Bear.
Bear.
Not not
BEAR.
BAR, right? And Rome Research actually is also another one. Somebody suggested. That's
Yeah.
also another one that allows you to have linked notes. But I was using Bear before Rome Research.
Got it. I think we're running short of time, but I'll just take one last question from somebody.
Sure.
Because I can see about 50 more questions that are left unanswered. So
Okay. Wow.
apparently,
Amazing.
I think this 1 hour is actually less. Uh, Let me find an interesting one.
We can
Uh,
extend it like a couple of minutes. That's fine. I'm okay
yeah,
with it.
so in that case, I think we'll have to then end this video and I'll have to start another one because there's a hard set of
Okay.
1 hour for Instagram. So if people
Yeah.
want it,
Yeah. Or we'll just take it 5 minutes. Yeah. We will figure it out. That's fine.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we can do
Yeah.
it. So you
Yeah.
talked about you believe in India. What do you think about Indian economy near future?
Um, Forecasting, yeah. Um, See, the funny thing about forecasting is that people think that you don't really realize that you are making future decisions based on your past,
Hmm.
and that will never repeat itself, right? So I just don't believe in forecasts, right? So I'll tell you structurally what I believe, right? So
Yeah.
long term, not 2 years, 3 years, but more like just like macro stuff.
Yeah.
Um, we have a huge population. We have very young people
Right.
who are very ambitious, and our average income is like lower income, right?
Yeah.
This just has to go higher, and it will go higher. I mean, it is going to happen.
Yeah.
So how I look at it is that there are 1 billion people, $2,500 average income,
Yeah.
which even if you go to a middle income country, it's like 6,500, 7,000. You're adding
Yeah.
like $4,500 for a billion people. It's 4.5 trillion just getting created like that, right? So
Yeah.
there is like 4.5 trillion to be created,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of upside. Like I'm just talking about like
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Abroad.
so I'm very bullish about us because we are an empire on the rise. Like cycles are there, and I'll suggest this Ray Dalio principles, especially the one that um, he is writing now recently about empires and how they, the US is, I think, declining, China is
Yeah.
rising along with India. And over our lifetime, I think the next 50 years, it's going to be pretty good. So, uh, you know, there will be ups and downs, but long term, अच्छा ही होगा. मतलब just stay through
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hard times, and the good times will be really good. So I'm very positive about India. But it's going to be really hard. Like this year, I think is going to be very tough. Like I'm looking at things because we are so densely populated as a country, and
Yeah.
also poor, don't have great infrastructure and stuff. We might not be able to, you know, go through this period really well. But I think long term we are going to be very good.
Yeah. Got it. So, guys, in case we are to extend this session, you will have to write your questions all over again. So, are you guys, if we can see some response and comments, if we should extend this for a couple of more minutes? Mm, yeah, I'm still waiting. If we have a lot
What
of
is your opinion
people,
on the future of cryptocurrency? Interesting.
please extend.
So,
Yes.
so I'll take this one. A tricky question. If you were not an engineer MBA, what would you want to be? I
Yeah.
wanted to be an archaeologist. So I wanted to go and like uh, look at people and empires and history. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
have done that. But the second job obviously is a writer, and I think that I'm doing it in some ways. I wouldn't qualify it. Please extend. Can we do a V2? Uh, we can do a V2 as well. I don't know. Maybe later we can do another session. I'm okay with it.
So I think let we have a minute on the clock remaining. So
Yes,
let me
yes,
quickly end this and start with another session. Let's spend some more minutes,
sure,
and
sure.
thank you so much. I think before I end this video as well, right? It
Yeah,
is amazing, and it is very grateful on your part to take this time out. I know that you're kind of away from all other social media, and it's
right,
very rare to find you on video. So
right.
yeah, I mean,
Uh,
this is good treasure that we've got, and I'll just take advantage of the flow
yeah,
and I'll
yeah,
extend it. Okay,
yeah.
I'll
Cool.
quickly do that. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Thanks.